to defend your mother, defend
Oh
yourself?
yeah, definitely. But then, like I say, the neighborhood, they respected my mother though,
Okay.
because my mother will, she will hurt somebody.
Okay.
But they just like that Sadie, sweet
Sweet
Sadie.
Sadie. Okay.
So they respected the fact, and then by us being who we started to become, it was like we can't mess with Sweet Sadie.
Okay. So who did you start to become?
What the environment made me. You got to survive in that environment. You become, you adapt to it, and so it's just a natural manifestation. And so I always was a good kid, wanted to go to school, but you got to do certain things in that neighborhood just to survive it and to put food in your stomach. So you become something that you don't really want to become. You get off into the streets, do some things, and you go down a different type of road.
Okay.
But that shaped me as well. So I would never take that back. If I had to do it again, I'd do it the same way. To be honest.
And most people wouldn't say that.
Yeah, for
So
real.
what is it about that experience that you would do again? Because if we all had to choose, I know I would say I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't do what I did again. I would change some things for sure.
Only thing I probably would have done, what I ain't had no choice, what I would have liked to sing done was that my oldest brother took the time out just to say, man, let me give something to my little brother financially. So he wanted to do some of the things that they was doing. But me learning how to take care of myself and how to feed myself, it actually made me more empathetic because I know what it feels to be real hungry. And then, but when I get some shared, and so that birthed a lot of that character that I take today. So that's why I said I wouldn't do. Because who says I would be this person today if I had it the other way?
That's true.
And we that's just on what we know. My pain just turned into my purpose, and that would drive me. So I would never take that pain part away from it.
So what has become your purpose from your pain?
Understanding the young people who have to go through my certain situation. It's my assignment because the ghetto gonna be what it is because it's designed that way. But we still have to understand the traps of it. So if I want to live that way, I want to understand the traps of poverty and the different things that drives poverty and why poverty even exists.
Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate because it's people who will say you don't have to become a product of your environment. You could go to college. You can do all different types of things. So some people just really, really think that.
Right.
But I know you was a hooper, right?
Yeah.
So what high school?
Well, I played for Faraday, then I transferred to Tilden in my 8th grade year.
Okay.
And then right when I went to Marshall, that's when I really started to, really do other things, sell the drugs,
Okay.
run with different guys, really become a part of the nation I was part of, and that just sidetracked me. And then not having nobody telling me not to,
Right. All right.
so.
And with saying that, so you was a hooper. You went to Marshall.
C for life.
Okay. Kenwood Bronco. You went to Marshall, and that's where you did. That's where things, you got off into street life.
Right.
Now you have some people who would say that you had a choice, you had an option, and we hear that a lot with young black men now, that they have an option. They don't have to be shooters, carjackers, or whatever. But from what I just heard you say, that's not the case for young black men growing up in the ghetto.
I want to say times are different, but they still the same. So I said, man, I'm gonna break that down.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people that's victim. You don't choose to be a victim. You don't choose to be victimized. So you don't have a choice of being a victim. You can get bruised as a child. Did you have a choice when somebody overpowered you and took your virginity or took something from you that you didn't want them to have? Mm-hmm. So at that time in my house, I'm 9, 10 years old, 11 years old. This is how we got to eat in this house. No other food coming in. I couldn't say, hey, I ain't going to choose to do that because if I choose to do that, I couldn't feed my stomach. And so when you're hungry, you're going to go off your first instincts. And so it's natural for you to say, you know what, I'm going to eat this way, especially when it's no one in there to say, don't do that. Or your brother and them say, hey, sell that because people coming to the door. So if I know I ain't got $2 in my pocket and I don't got nobody to give me $2, this is my way I'm going to get my $2. Because this is our first instinct to eat. Mm-hmm. And as a child, that's your first brain. The gut is your first brain because you have to feed it. It tells you everything. So my stomach wasn't telling me all that other stuff, that I have a choice. My stomach told me I'm hungry as hell. In spite of all that. And, I challenge people when they say, well, you always got a choice. As a kid, sometimes you don't have a choice.
Okay.
So if you had a parent, and I won't get too long with it, when you had a parent back in the day, you couldn't say, Mama, I don't eat that. You eat what was cooked.
You definitely did.
Or you didn't goddamn eat.
Yeah, or you didn't eat. Facts, yeah.
So you didn't have a choice.
Right.
You could have said, no, I don't eat that, but guess what? That's going to mess with you.
Yeah.
And so, that's what I say to the people. And I respect that perspective, but that's just not reality all the time.
So, Marshall, you're on the street life. So, during that time, did anything happen that changed your life, that forced you to start seeing things from a different perspective?
My first daughter, she was born when I was 18, when I was just turned 18. And so I said, man, this different. I don't want my daughter, I want to see my daughter graduate, put it like that. She just changed my whole perspective on things. And I told myself then, even though I was still doing what I was doing, I said, this is not going to be no career for me. Because I want her to see me doing some positive things, eating a little bit different. And then I started to see what the drugs are really doing. I started to study myself and started to see the genocide in the drugs. And so, like I say, that just started to really manifest itself as I got out of high school. Because I'm like, damn, I don't want to put my baby in harm's way like that. Even though I got, well known in my neighborhood, it's still everybody on target. So when you make those choices, everybody is involved in your choice. And then I just started to say, man, do I really want to be this way? Do I want to die before my daughters get to know me? And I got blessed. I got fortunate. A lot of near-death experiences, but I got real fortunate because my mindset started to change. And so once you see the game, you adjust different to the game.
So you chose life over profit?
Yeah, I chose life over death.
Okay.
Because that's what's coming with that, an early death. You die, period. But with that lifestyle, you got to know death is always around the corner.
Okay. So then you start changing your life. So then after Marshall, where did you go? Like what happened after that?
I went to trade school.
Really?
I went to Washburn Trade School.
Oh, okay.
For about a year, and started having back problems.
What was your trade? Wait, Washburn Company?
Yeah, Washburn Trade School on Kersey. Used to be on 33rd and 33rd Kersey, somewhere up in there, 33rd and Kersey.
So what were you going for? Was it?
Home building maintenance. I wanted to build houses. I wanted, that's what I wanted to get in.
Okay.
And so when we was learning how to lay cement, my back just got stuck. I'm like, damn, this ain't a good feeling. And so I just said, you know what, let me do something different. I started feeling guilty about the drugs I was selling, seeing what I did, and like, damn, I'm really killing our people. And it's part of the plan. So I said, well, you know what, I done sold so many drugs, let me go to school for counseling. Let me see if I can help people bring away and get them off, help them get them off the drugs that I helped sell. Not put them on what was the product of that destroying our community with that, and then taking pride in that. I think that would really hurt me. I'm like, man, we really took pride in killing our own people that way.
Well, the drug dealers, that was the end thing. Especially, even for young women. Like nobody wanted to date a square dude. We wanted the dude who could take you to lunch, buy you purses. Right. So, it was the environment, culture.
And see, to be honest, I never sold drugs for women. I never. No, I'm just saying. I said never did that.
Oh, okay.
To get girls and none of that. It was strictly always about surviving by me.
Okay.
Never from that other stuff.
But that comes with it, though.
Yeah, but that wasn't my main motive.
Yeah.
A lot of times, when we know that that's what the ladies like, we do it, and we can have another means, but we do it because we know that that's what the women want. But I never did it, and I feel good about that. I never did it for that. It was strictly because at that time, this is what I felt I needed to do, to eat and to feed.
So with a lifestyle of fast money to go to working in trade school, that had to be a hell of a transition.
A big adjustment.
Yeah. So what did you do in the meantime? Because you still in survival mode because now you got a family.
Right.
So how did you still sustain yourself?
To be honest, I was playing the financial aid game.
Okay.
My ex-wife, she was supporting me. And I just had to cut out a lot of things. I know I can't live that way no more like that. I can't go spend $1,000 that just ain't feasible. Mm-hmm. So I already put in my mind that this gonna be hard transitioning here, but I know I gotta do this way. If not, I'm going to the penitentiary. I'm gonna be dead. So like I say, once again, I chose life. And it got to the point where I'm like, oh man, I probably like 27, 26, like, I got a little bit inchy again. But then I wound up getting a job. And that kind of like, okay, here we go. I went up to make about $7, $8 an hour.
At 27?
Yeah, that was my first job. Yeah, that was my first job.
So your first time being employed was at 27?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I never had a job. I had one little at work job in high school. That was like 3 months. But I never had my first job was at Blue Cross Blue Shield. I was 28. Yeah, it was first job. So all up and from 11 to 26, that's what I did. I hustled.
So so what I'm hearing is discipline and maturity.
Yeah.
Because a lot of dope boys they cannot do that. They in and out of jail. That's a lot of discipline. So,
I feel like a lot of dope boys, they want it all. I never wanted it all.
Oh, okay.
And so I always gave myself, I always gave myself, anything I did, I said, well, let me play the 50-50 game. Versus working 24 hours, I'm going to work 12. But I'm going to go to school for 2 hours, out there 2 or 3 hours too. So I was shut down my spot. And so, I really felt like that would kind of help me be a little bit more lucky because once I made me certain amount of money, I'm good. I don't need to get it all. I don't want it all. Because when you want it all, here come all the smoke, here come all the other things. They come along with, let me play the 50-50 game.
But that's still discipline.
Yeah, it takes discipline.
So being in survival mode, because discipline is not something that everybody masters at such a young age, given the circumstances that you were living under. So where did you learn that type of discipline?
To be honest, I think living in a house with rats. Rats, when you live with rats, and seeing how rats move, I tell everybody about the rat story. This ain't no Michael Jackson being love affair. This ain't. But just
rats.
Yeah, but it's rats, and we had big old rats. My apartment, our apartment was just a extension of an alley, and just seeing how the rats move, but the rats move in kind of like a discipline matter. It was funny because when we had like people in our house, for our house to be as regular as it was, as like an alley, our house was just like the house. For some reason, but the rest would never come out like that. It's like, okay, it's their time. We ain't gonna mess with their company. But the minute the company leave, and we got to go to sleep, here come all the rest of it, disciplining, going in there, eating food, moving shit. You would think was screaming like, but you would think it was people in the house. Yeah. And so we was actually to the point where we were scared to go to sleep. So I think this is what led to my sleeping problems because we just stay up until we just fall asleep because we're scared if the rest gonna bite us. They're going to jump in the bed with us. And so I said, man, let me just start watching the rest. We had a cat in there. We had the mouse traps and everything, but you'll never see a big rat on the mouse trap. So I'm like, damn, why we can't catch a big rat?
Yeah.
But the rat was more disciplined. He said, I can't run it. I didn't seen that before. But the mice would. Right. Because the mice only see the cheese. He don't know it's a trap. A big rat always run around that thing. And I found that real... I'm like, damn, that rat intelligent. He know not to even go near that thing. And that take discipline. He see it, but he know in this man, I can't do that because I'm going to get trapped up. So that taught me discipline, and it also taught me how to listen to an elder or listen to a big rat in the street. Well, I ain't going to say rat is a bad word, but a big person that to seen some things before. Mm-hmm. And so I will always listen to the older guys that I know that to seen stuff before me. And then try to move around a little bit differently. So that's where my discipline really started, take place at watching rats, watching how they move.
So I was like really thinking you was gonna come with a profound, like my mama, my sisters. I wasn't expecting that.
No,
That's deep.
that what taught me, because shit, they became family in that house. So you know what I mean. So they
Glad you could
taught
laugh
me.
at it like that.
Yeah,
Now,
I
yeah.
had to laugh at it like that because it's trauma. But you know,
Wow.
that's our adverse childhood experience, and that's like I say, understanding pain. But that they're watching that produce my purpose.
Okay,
So
so you
everything
throwing
makes
out
sense.
clinical terms, so you gotta explain what adverse childhood experiences are.
Childhood trauma that we don't know how it affects us, how it's going to affect us in our adulthood if we don't deal with it. That we still would carry it in our adulthood.
So have you dealt with all yours?
Yeah, I'm still dealing with it because it's always, you never stop dealing with it. You grow with it. And I don't let it, when it show up, I know how to do it. Oh, that's that. I know how to deal with that once it show up. Because it still will show up. But you got to know, okay, this is a trigger from that experience. How do I deal with it as an adult? How can I show emotional intelligence in that now?
So emotional intelligence, adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. These are all things that you do for yourself to keep
Right.
yourself constantly growing.
Right.
So you work with young men
Yes.
at Youth Guidance,
That's
Becoming a
correct.
Man program. So talk about how that your life and working with Youth Guidance has you've been able to make an impact in your community and in your life.
I'm thankful for that because it opened me up to a whole bunch of young men that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to reach at a level like that. And by me understanding what certain lifestyles and seeing what majority of young men go through in our neighborhood, because just about us all got the same story. We just tell it different. So, especially if you come from generational poverty and systemic poverty, we all gonna have some type of commonality. It might not be all in common, but it's gonna be some type of thread. How we had to survive through extreme poverty or other things that affect the household, the black household. And by me understanding so many of those commonalities, it just helps me more relatable. So you've got to put me in a position where I can reach a plethora of young men from different parts of the city, different areas, to help them understand how can they make their pain into a purpose. So I'm extremely grateful for that. And it's something that I know I innately have that skill to do because of all what I went through.
So you said that most black men share you all share the same story.
Majority of we gonna have something in common, especially if we come from the same background.
Okay.
Maybe one or two things that we could say, you know what, damn, I experienced that, or I saw that, or I felt that, I heard that. You know.
So you working with this organization is just men. So it's men. What do you guys do with the young men?
We actually do group, and we do one-to-one counseling, individual counseling, individual group therapy. We're inside of the schools, but I make it about the substance, and so just to have that figure of a man trying to atone and go in there and say, man, let me work with these young men to help them become better men, because it started with us. We dropped the ball as men, so this is our work. We have to do that. We got to model that y'all pain come from our pain. So how do we help y'all get to a point where y'all can start back trusting men? Because a lot of young men don't trust men. Because most of us care from our fathers. So we have to atone to become better men. So that's the power in that. Once that man get that, now I feel like that's his duty. If this assignment to go in there and, hey, we did that. How can we show y'all better?
So so the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. So what I'm hearing you say is black men, all black men need to step up and be active in young black men.
I want to see the ones that feel like that's their assignment.
That's their assignment. Okay. So
Because that's not every black man. I would wish it was every black man assignment.
but why isn't it every black man's assignment?
There's a plethora of reasons why.
Okay, just give me
First
one.
of all, most of black men haven't got over their father one. Got in touch with their spiritual side. I feel like it's a spiritual thing that have to go on side of a man too to understand this work have to be done by us. And unfortunately, every man just not gonna be there because there's so many other things that sets them back from even getting to that mindset. I said, I feel like you have to have a growth mindset, and this is something that you have to be chosen to do.
So as the black community, we should be content with the absence of some black men.
No, ain't no content. We never content, but that just ain't the reality. I believe in realism. I would wish all of us could stand up. Mm-hmm. I would hope that all of us could stand up. And people that see this video, I would hope they would say, you know what, let me go back, man, and do our duty, our original duty. But we get took away from that, from so many different things. And so we still fighting our childhood. How can a man try to help raise a young man if he's still in a young man's mind? Mm-hmm. So he have to do his own work.
That's really the blind lead the blind.
Exactly. So we have to do our own work.
Okay.
In order for you to just say, you know what, that's going to be my path. That's going to be my life assignment. Because this is a life thing. This is a life thing for me. I would do this without a pay. Hell, I was doing it without a pay. So this is something that I know that the ancestors and the Most High put me here to do.
So I know you know this question is coming, so I have to ask. So are there any women that come into these groups with you guys?
I have, and it's a beautiful thing. Because matter of fact, we do a respect for womanhood piece, mm-hmm. And I think it should be. I think it should be something that should be mandatory, because the woman is the first teacher of the child. So if we doing circle work, and our young men don't understand the significance of the circle is the womb. That's the womb of life. So if they don't understand that possibility, how they gonna respect life or really grasp life and understand how important it is for life, and then just to understand who the black woman is, who the woman is, period. Mm-hmm. Because she's the progenitor of life. Everything comes through her womb, her portal. So we have to make that aware of that. Make our young men aware of that as well.
So about the black woman, let's touch on her very quickly. Right now, it's all about asses, body, right. All that stuff, right? One thing we all see in our community, especially black communities, a lot of single mothers, right. Raising young men, and you said that's something we have in common. Given the state of the black woman right now, are we a hindrance to the growth of black men?
I just think we both have to do our work, because slavery broke us both.
Okay.
And so we have to stop pointing and say, well, who hurt the most? We both hurt the most. And so I just think it's important by me saying that the black woman is the progenitor of life, I feel like she have to really do her work, because I feel like if she knows who she is, she would build a nation. It's a saying that if one man teaches another man, he only teaches one man. But if a woman teaches a man, she teaches a whole nation. Mm. And unfortunately, our black women don't know their divinity, because the world don't want the black woman to know her divinity. And it's something, religion and everything has buried, has oppressed. And I really wish all black women knew who y'all really was. But by y'all not, that can be sort of type of hindrance, because the power that y'all have. But we live in an oppressive society. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So the black woman wants to know her most high self. So
I know you work with young men, but do you work with young women, and do you share this message with women?
Definitely. I actually tell women why they think the word bitch is so powerful.
Why is it so powerful? Because it's a fighting word. Yeah.
But it's a lot of science behind that. Why it is what it is. What's the definition of a bitch?
Female dog.
What's dog spelled backwards?
God.
Okay, so what our oppressor did, they made us look at our women as a dog, because the only thing that can truly break God is the children of God. So it took them to break us to break our woman. Mm. So by us being naturally breaking our woman, the black woman will never know she's a god.
And that's what the music does.
And that's what everything
does.
That's what
everything does, yeah. For you all, for black men too, though.
That's what, exactly.
Yeah.
But we don't know every time we're doing that, we breaking the divinity and a black woman. But once again, that was by design.
Yeah. Well, I'm a hip hop head. I love music. So going back to thinking about culture, music like NWA, all those artists, Chicago is notorious for gangs. That's really a culture, a lifestyle here. And you have taken gang and put a spin on it. So tell us about that.
Well, first of all, when we come up, the gangs of the day, it's just Sankofa. It's just going back how it was formed. Before the gangs became nation in the Black Power movement, they were street. They were block by block. Then the guys with the 60s came in, everything about Black Power. So they said, you know what, let's join these blocks together and create one nation, because we all come from nations. Our ancestors had nations and tribes, because that's what gangs are, tribes. But we looked at them as nation. It wasn't no GD gang. It was Gangster Disciple Nation. It was Black Peace Stone Nation. It was Vice Lord Nation. Black Soul Nation. So these was all nations. But what happened is you put all the other traps out, and then it become about gangs. So I actually went back and put a spin on gang. Gang mean gaining awareness and nullified genocide. Because if we are aware that it was about nation and uplifting, we would do better with the principles. Because every nation got a set of principles and values that we have to follow inside those principles. And if you're a nation historian, you will see that none of the literature said anything about killing your brother. It was all about growth.
Yeah.
But see, this is what got took away by the Department of Justice, because they don't want that uplift amongst black men. Poverty is the greatest tool from breaking unity. That's why they do everything in their power to keep us in a poverty state. Because if it's systemic power, it's going to be systemic disunity.
Say that again.
If there's systemic poverty, there's going to be systemic disunity.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you say, well, white folks can do this together, why can't black folks do this?
Yeah, Jewish.
Because we
ethnicity.
in a plethora of poverty. So we cannot be unit in one when everybody is surviving, trying to survive.
But it's going to be people who say that black people have come a long way. There's been a black president. There's all kind of resources going into programs. You
guess
got
what?
Billionaire, millionaires, sports, rap.
We still got a whole bunch of black problems. In spite of having a black president, black billionaires, why are the ghettos still the way they are?
But is that a political issue or is that a us issue? Because
It's both.
I think it's a us issue.
It's both.
Okay.
It's both.
Why is it both?
Because, once again, the disunity. Because you can't have the way politics is. Politics works like puppets. Mm-hmm. And this is an old slave trick. You make black folks think they have power, but do they really have the power?
I want to say yes or no. Because you have a lot of black people who've gone to college, work in the fields we work in.
Okay.
You have marriage, like the it's not the same set of factors.
Okay, but why is our poverty rate so widespread? Why are things still the same? I can catch some places where when I came here it looked the same. That was 50 years ago, almost 50 years ago. Why don't them things change?
Well, is it because we're not coming together?
Once again, what's our poverty rate?
So poverty is the reason why we can't come together, or should we just get to the point where we can't save them all?
Poverty creates this unity.
Okay.
So, like I say, that's why you would never, when President Obama was in office, did he have an agenda strictly for black folks?
Well, he couldn't have an agenda strictly for black folks.
But we had a black president. This is what
I mean, but he couldn't though.
But why he couldn't?
Because he wouldn't have been elected. Now you know that.
No, because he was still a black man in the White House.
Oh, okay. But it's strategy.
Yeah, it's always strategy.
It's strategy.
So once again,
sometimes you gotta maneuver and make moves to get to that end, to get to the end goal.
Right, but I want to challenge you. Do we really still have power like that though? Our power is in our money. Now the black folks stop spending money. America's capitalism.
Oh yeah, we're the biggest consumers. Yeah.
So that's where our biggest power at. How we spend our poor money.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we can get power at. America's a capitalist country. The almighty dollar is God here. So we understood financial literacy and understand how that play, how economics work.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the true power come in. But we don't understand the economic gains by committee because we so disunified.
Okay. So with gang, what are your principles and what are you instilling?
Awareness, awareness, awareness.
Okay.
To be aware is to be alive. Because we've been put to sleep on so many levels. You know, and we have to understand we were designed to be put to sleep. You know, we the giant. Keep the giant asleep. If you look at it, our greatest movements were youth led.
Mm.
So how you look at things now, the mission is to dumb down the youth. If you look at SNCC, the Nation of Islam, all the Martin Luther King movements, they was between the ages 16 and 30.
Mm-hmm.
18 to 35 is the black man most productive years.
Mm-hmm. Different times though.
It still is. The percentage of black men incarcerated now are between the ages of 18 and 40. Them are most productive years, but they being spent, being incarcerated. The trick slavery. So we got to understand how this thing works holistically. And so this is what gang does. Gang brings awareness to all this here on how we get taught every day to kill ourselves, and we don't even realize that what's happening because we so bent on having a survival mentality. And out of this, we develop all these maladaptive behaviors that, okay, this is how we just survive. This maladaptive is natural for us to be this way. It's in our nature to be this way. Because this is what we get. We get fed destruction. And people feed on that. They bound to that. What's in the media? Destruction.
Yeah.
Different levels of it, though.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to look at how we get primed here. How we continue to get primed. So we got all this power. Why are we not educating our young people differently? Do we control the school system?
But see, I think that we are educating some of them differently.
You say some of them.
I just think it's some. But I think all ethnicities, all races, socioeconomic statuses have their ills. Ours are just more publicized because we're a cash cow.
Right.
You know, it's tied to grants, funding. You know, gentrification. It's a whole myriad of things.
Right.
But what I just want to fully understand and what you're saying is that for the young black male to progress, poverty just has to be simply eradicated.
No, he just got to understand the traps of it, because you could never eradicate poverty because poverty is the money.
Okay.
They could have been got rid of poverty.
So you don't think young black men see the traps with prison sentences, the way they're being killed, like none of that
because
is
they're
a
unconscious.
consequence? Okay.
Because when you in it, you don't see it. You could tell a younger right now, you know, if you do that, you're going to jail. But in his unconscious mind, he don't think he's gonna get caught.
And you're gonna bring him to a conscious mind.
No, they're gonna bring themselves to a conscious mind once I paint pictures.
Okay.
We visual. You have to paint pictures, and they have to see these pictures. But then they're gonna have to experience some things too in that.
Okay. Like what would they have to experience?
No, unfortunately, a lot of them are gonna have to sit in silence.
Because I'm a mom. I'm a single mom. Well, I'm not a single mom. My son's father was active. My family was active. So I don't want to discount them on that. But I was on his ass, too. Now, you know, was he an angel? You know, he did things that boys did. But for the most part, I did a good job.
Right.
So, am my son and I just a unicorn out of the community? I got lucky. Okay. I got lucky.
Yeah, but you put yourself in a position, and you probably put your kid in different experiences.
Okay.
And so I tell people all the time, you know, we say education, but experiences trump education, because the more the person sees,
I definitely agree with that.
You know, the more the person may want to be. So we're not putting our young people where they can see and enjoy different experiences. How are we really learning and teaching them? Because they going to see this shit all day out here.
Oh, definitely.
This not going nowhere. So maybe your son and you get with opportunity to understand. Well, let him see different things. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, so many parents bury they kids here
Yes.
because of the lack of opportunities to go see someone to do something different, to have a different exposure. Exposure and experiences are being educated because that's what education is supposed to be about. Because if you don't have them two, you just got this. You got one eye. You got
So
one lens on life.
experience and exposure. I definitely agree with you. Life is always the best teacher. Different experiences. So with your program, what experiences are you providing to bring them to for you guys to collaborate on getting them conscious? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, I just challenge them guys to go see something different. If they see the block for 5 hours a day, man, go see something that ain't block related for 2, 3 hours a day. It don't take much to do that. Yeah, you can take a train ride, go to Millennium Park, go see the Navy Pier. When I first started doing this here, a lot of my guys never even been downtown. That's a 10-minute ride with 15-minute
From the west
ride
side?
to downtown.
Yeah.
And they never been downtown. So if all they see of a block, that's gonna get them blocked on the cell block or death block. So I challenge them, hey, go there, just go see something different. You see what I'm saying? Just walk around there. Go over there, go over there, go over there. So, and that's something that it really don't take a lot of money to do.
So as a parent, or just why should I, or not even as a parent, but just what makes you stand out? Why should I buy into that you will be able to shape these young minds?
My captain, we all talk about credibility. Look at my body at work. Your work don't lie. I'm not. I don't feel like I have to sell my work. We in a society where you can just go pull up a person's name and everything will come out. Go look at my work. And you judge me from my work.
Okay, so we know you did youth guidance. What else? What else you got? We ain't judging, but just give us a quick bio.
A bio, what I got, what I want to do. I would like to, and I'm gonna manifest that. I would like to have a rites of passage program for young men because that's all the streets is. It's a form of rites of passage. We don't have a formal system where a young man can say, you know what, I went right in that building and I became, and I'm still becoming a man. Like how we can walk into a church and say, you know what, I got baptized over there. This is why I became a Christian. This is why I got baptized. We don't have that for malehood transition. We don't have that. And that's what we're missing here. So that's what I want to have coming, and that's what I'm working myself towards, where they can get malehood literacy and what that rights is, and how to have certain ethics, because this is just move gender. All people should have some type of ethic and principles. And I think this is wrong with our society. We don't follow certain ethical principles, even though we say we do, we cheat them.
Yeah, we do. We say we do.
Don't
Constitution.
don't cheat your principle.
Yeah. The
You
law.
know, of course, the Constitution, we're made for all people.
No, it
We
wasn't.
get that.
But those are the principles.
But
So what are your?
that's the illusion.
Yeah.
My thing is to make them aware so they can understand what the illusions are, how powerful illusions are.
So what are your principles? And give me 2 principles and 2 ethics.
I follow Ubuntu. I am because we are. If I'm successful, I'm not successful until my people around me successful. And that's not just financially. I mean spiritually successful, mentally successful, health-wise. So I can't say, hey, I'm real and I'm not doing nothing for the community. That's a principle. Community is commonality. What do I really got in common with the community? Am I killing the community or I'm trying to help heal the community? So that's a principle I follow. The each one teach one concept. And I am because we are. And my second one is I have to model what I want to see. Can I change the world? No, but I can change the things that's in my circle. I can change how I choose to show up every day, how I model, and hopefully some people's like, okay, I get that. Because I looked at when I was in the street, how many young people was looking up to me. I'm like, well, why can't I be that way and be positive with everything and model that? And show up that way every day.
Shift the power.
Shift the power. So show up. Get up and show up.
Do you find that you still get the same respect?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, because there's a difference between, I've always been an informal leader.
What's that?
Well, you don't have to be the leader of the game to run the game. When you can have just as much influence as people with title have. Because influence is based off your character. I feel like that's real influence. When you can influence other people, and you just can be just as powerful one as influence as other people that got these big time titles. But just because your character and the person you are and the work you have done, you carry that same weight. And so, I feel like that's my purpose for humanity. Because then none of us has to be here. But we all got a purpose here. And our young people don't realize their purpose. They got a purpose for being here.
Do you feel like you found your purpose?
Yeah, I know my assignment.
So what's your assignment?
What I'm doing now, to be the model that I want to see. And that's to grow as many as young black and brown men as I possibly can, and women too, to let them know the divinity in us. Because we got both God and devil in us, but we promote the devil out here. But I want them to understand their higher consciousness. When I say God, it's their higher consciousness, the moral conscience, and not the lower conscience.
Okay, so what's next for you now that you know your assignment and your purpose? I know you told us about this.
Continue growth.
Okay.
Understanding, taking care of myself, because you got to take care of yourself to do this work or to be in this war, because it's a war, and it's draining. Because like I say, I see death all day, every day. Death have took so much from me, but it also gave me life. And so, I really want to help our young people really to understand death, because it is life. But death is the great unnatural, the great natural unnatural. And that's another thing that we really have to touch on. Our young people, we don't understand that grief process.
So you feel like we do need to teach our young people about death?
Because we have to accept death. It's life. We can't have one without the other one. I mean, they see so much of it. But I feel like if they understand the processes of it, they won't become numb.
Because some people would take that as they need to accept it, that's just an inevitable, that this is what's going to happen, they going to die. Because a lot of them say they're not afraid to die.
Why? Because they didn't got numb. I was never afraid to die. I just didn't want to die in vain. I just didn't want to die unconscious.
Yeah, see, I never felt that. I know, I never felt like that growing up.
Because death came to me a couple times.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about death until death started hitting me and hitting you. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to experience it on different levels more than other people. And so when you saw it so much time, you're like, damn, I have to accept it. That's the only way I'm going to keep living. When my son lost his life for 16 months, I died with him. Pieces of me died. Some of me is still in that grave with him. But it rebirthed me at the same time. So accepting that physical loss, and we have to be educated on what that looked like, so we can still be resilient in that. Because the longer we live, the more death we're gonna see.
Being resilient, and this is my last question. Resilient is such a buzzword in mental health. That's what we say we want to teach. Do you think as African Americans, as black people, do you think we fully understand what resiliency is?
I don't think we know how resilient we are.
Yeah.
We've been resilient since we got off the boat. But I just think a lot of people manipulate our resiliency too. Because they know we done went through the worst of the worst and we still fucking here.
Yeah.
But in that, I don't think we really know how to take care of ourselves. Because the first thing we're going to say, we're going to stay strong. We're going to stay strong. But you got to know how to be weak too. That's how you refuel yourself.
Well, we black, we can't be weak.
Yeah, we have to be weak. Can't be hard all day.
Well,
you know, you can have weak and you can have weak and have strength too. People don't understand that.
Yeah.
In certain instances, weakness is a strength. To be vulnerable is a strength. You're a black woman. You ever experienced vulnerability?
I've definitely experienced vulnerability, but I think vulnerability, and I think as a black woman, I cannot show that I'm weak. I cannot show that I'm weak in my household, and I can't show that I'm weak in the
And why is
workplace.
that?
Because I won't be seen as valuable or productive or an asset. Now, has my son seen me in some weak, effed up moments? Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, because he's with me all the time. I had my son at 21, so he grew up with me. So yes, he's seen me at my best and he's seen me at my low. So yeah, but I can't show up weak outside of my household.
Okay, I know you're interviewing, but how does that make you feel when you feel like I have to always show up strong? What that does to your psyche?
It creates a lot of anxiety for sure.
Okay.
Anxiety. You know, it's a false expectation because I'm not perfect.
Okay.
And it shows up in relationships too.
But you still got to walk out like you just this strong thing.
Yeah. And I connected to being resilient.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? That's why I was like, do we really understand our being resilient?
But once again, that's why I say we have to understand that we have to be weak in that process. I'm a man. I'm a black man. I was taught from day one, you can't show no weaknesses.
Right.
But what it did to me on the inside. So if I can't show no weakness, how can I be vulnerable to my daughters? How can I really nurture them and teach them how man should treat them if I'm so hard all day? How can I teach my son how to treat a woman, how to treat their daughters? And so these just some of the things we just got to pay a little bit attention on how we perceive them. And we all perceive things differently. Mm-hmm. But I know, and what helped me with my daughters is I was able to become vulnerable with them. And they get both sides. You can be a lion and a lamb every day. You just got to know the times, when to be a lion and when to be a lamb. Can you show up in spots where you know it's lions in to be a lion? Hell no, because you're going to get ate up. Mm-hmm. But when you, with your daughters, or somewhere where you're vulnerable, you need to show vulnerability, you got to come in as a lion. But that's our emotional intelligence, understand how our emotional intelligence works. So a lot of us got to get there. So we have to really look at ourselves, look at the mirror. Why we always feel like we have to be a certain way, and how that was produced.
Yeah.
And how we carried out in our everyday life. And that's a lot of baggage.
It is.
And so I'm just saying that just as a man that come up in the worst condition, still know that I can't be hard all day because that's painful. Painful being with your jaw swollen and puffed out. It's a lot of work. Now in certain spaces, concentration place like that, yeah, that's different.
Okay.
But most dangerous thing is being locked up in your mind.
Yeah, self-talk. Yeah.
And so, you know, and we walk around and that's why I don't think we can have a healthy relationship, because y'all have to be strong and then y'all lose y'all femininity. Then when a man feel like he always strong, guess what? You got two strong people and you just got two strong people without no balance. Because somebody's going to have feminine energy.
Well, that's true.
Somebody's going to have to show some
Somebody
feminine
is going to have to, there's going to have to be some feminine energy. But men have feminine energy too.
Yeah, a lot. And that's by design too. A lot of us have, we suffer from emotional feminism.
What is that?
When you come up around women and you become your nurturer, you nurture action. A lot of us come up with single parent.
That's over 75% of
Exactly.
Young black men.
And 75% of black men can't handle their emotions. That's the fastest way to the penitentiary to death, because we was in a household, unfortunately, where we was surrounded with so much feminine energy. And I'm gonna give you a perfect example of that. I was doing a group one day, and two young men was arguing, and I mean they was arguing at the top of their be help, and I'm calling. They calling.
I hate when young men call each other that.
But guess where they get it from?
Where they get it? TV.
No, the feminine energy that's in their house.
Oh.
Most women call themselves, "Hey, bitch, what you doing, bitch?"
Yeah.
So now, guess what? This is how the young guys talk. Oh, bitch ass nigga, what you doing, bitch? So we tend to carry out the ways of our nurturer. Who's been our nurturer in the household? A lot of feminine energy. And we do that shit unconsciously. And we don't know what's coming from. But back to the story that I was telling about the young guys, they went verbiage at the top of their voice. Did nobody swing? And I just said, time out. I said, man, why didn't y'all hit each other?
What they say?
Man, this how who do things. I said, where you get that behavior from? Where you think that's steering from? Man, this how my mama and them talking to her. I said, there we go.
Okay.
I said, that's the unbalance of energy. Because men are supposed to be in control of their emotion, but we don't see that. Because guess what? When we get our emotion, guess what? Somebody get hurt, somebody get killed. And that's our feminine at the forefront. Because we never had that balance between the masculine and the feminine. And that's what, another thing you say, what I follow, I understand duality and dualism, and that's one thing I teach too. Why our feminine energy show up, why it show up, why our masculine energy is dissipating. Because they don't want us to have true masculine warrior energy. See, people get paid off us being in savage mode all day. That feed the penitentiary. It feed funeral homes. People make money off us being fucking savages. That's why they always paid us to be savages. That's why the music's savage. So they want us.
You know, Kanye's saying that right now, and everybody want to call him crazy.
Oh, Kanye crazy intelligent. And so he's manic with it. Because he see things that on a whole nother level. And that shit makes you crazy. So
to have a gift to be able to see things like that. And be in spaces that most people
would never be in.
Yeah, most people don't even look at it.
And that makes you manic.
Okay. So where can people find you? Give us your information.
They can find me on the west side. They can actually you can Google me, just email me at stinsonalpha72.com, or you can call me personally 773-954-0864 if you want any information on my program, what I'm trying to do, possible mentorship and partnership. That's where you guys can find me at. And you can look me up. I'm actually on Google too. Google my name, Alpha Stinson Mentor Board. You can really see what I do. So.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you for listening. And let me challenge you too on your thinking.
Yeah, you did.
So.
I'm going to have to sit and think about that for a minute.
All right.